Welcome back, everyone. Today we have 2001 Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant were unstoppable. Now, obviously, we all know about this duo right there. 2001 Shaq and Kobe, they were different, bro. Honestly, most dominant duo ever. To me, this is peak duo ever. There's never been a duo that were, as dominant as these two together that year. This is definitely peak duo. Prime Shaq with young Kobe, that shit was unfair, okay? Let's see how crazy that run really was, though. I think they swept the entire Western Conference that year. And yeah.
Imagine this. Your two best players hate each other. One wants out, the other won't pass. The locker room is in chaos. And then you flip a switch and go 15-1 in the playoffs, sweeping your way to the finals and back-to-back championships with one of the most dominant playoff runs ever. Sounds impossible, right? Well, the 2001 Lakers did it. On one side, a dominant giant who called himself the Big Aristotle. On the other, a 22-year-old killer with the Mamba mindset.
This is crazy, but these two together, bro. Like, you talk about Shaq, when he dominates, bro. No one is stopping that. Like, it's just grown man basketball right there. You had Shaq out there literally playing bully ball. And then, only way to stop him was to foul him, literally. That was the only option. And, bro, when Kobe scored, the thing, bro, young Kobe was honestly fearless, bro. It's look at the elite footwork, that he had. That stuff, okay? He was already him at that age. Shit. Anyways, man.
They clashed, and then they dominated.
Bryant takes steps through. Shaq follows all the way.
This was the year Shaq and Kobe peaked, not just as players, but as a dynasty. Let's break down why 2001 was the greatest display of duo dominance in NBA history. In their second campaign under Phil Jackson, the Lakers finished 56-26 in the regular season, second only to the San Antonio Spurs, before they torched their way through the playoffs 15-1, putting together one of the most dominant postseason runs in NBA history. But it wasn't just about the wins, it was how they won, while nearly falling apart from the inside out. Led by the league's best guard-center duo, the Los Angeles Lakers looked ready to steamroll the NBA again, and for stretches, they absolutely did. The Western Conference, which featured 7 50-win teams, still couldn't match
the Western Conference in the 2000s was honestly so stacked. Like, damn, bro.
Of a young Kobe Bryant averaging 28.5 points per game and Shaquille O'Neal averaging 29.7. The Lakers refused to rest on their laurels after winning the 99-2000 title. Before the season, they looked to strengthen their interior defense. In a massive 4-team, 11-player trade, they sent Glenn Rice to New York and brought in Horace Grant and Greg Foster.
Yeah, Horace Grant
had played under Phil Jackson and were well versed in the triangle offense. Grant's acquisition seemed especially important because he also provided the kind of defensive toughness LA would need for another title run. Expectations were sky high. On paper, the Lakers looked unstoppable. Defending champs, upgraded defense, 2 superstars entering their prime. But championships don't guarantee chemistry, and behind closed doors, things were already unraveling. Phil Jackson was already sick of playing team therapist. The 56-26 record was solid, but nowhere near dominant. Key role player and locker room leader Derek Fisher started the season on the injured list with a stress fracture in his right foot, missing the first 62 games. The rest of the team stumbled out of the gate, sitting at 31-16 by the All-Star break, already with more losses than the entire previous season. And then there was the feud.
The feud that's fueled. Wait, hold on. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back.
O'Neal and Bryant's tension reached a whole new level. Shaq came into training camp out of shape, which frustrated Jackson and infuriated Bryant. who would spend the off-season grinding relentlessly to refine his game. Their clashing personalities only made things worse. Shaq was playful and carefree, loving celebrity life in LA and the perks that came with it, while Kobe was intense, distant, and hyper-focused on the job at hand. The feud had simmered for years, but cooled off the previous season when Jackson convinced O'Neal to recommit to defense and Bryant to play more of a distributor role. This time though, it exploded. By January 2001, Kobe, determined to showcase his growth, had tilted the team's offense towards himself. He led the NBA in scoring at 29.6 points per game and ranked second in shot attempts with 779, a full 171 more than O'Neal, last year's MVP and top scorer. Meanwhile, Shaq struggled to find rhythm after an off-season of fun and celebration. His field goal percentage dipped below 50 at times, and his free throws were as brutal as ever. But he didn't see himself as the problem. In January, he said, "When it was clear
These dudes
that
said
everything went through me,
Shaq hates Kobe.
the outcome of it was a record of 67 and 15, playing with enthusiasm, the city jumping up and down, and a parade. And now we're 23 and 11. You figure it out. I don't know why anybody else would want to change, other than selfish reasons." A not so subtle jab at his co-star. But Kobe shot back, essentially saying it was a different year, the roster had changed, and things evolve. You just have to grow with them. He also added that changes in the offense shouldn't stop Shaq from showing up on defense. Needless to say, Shaq wasn't too pleased. In his autobiography, O'Neal revealed that the team often held meetings out of frustration with Kobe's self-centered play and the coach's unwillingness to address it. At one point, things got so bad that reports surfaced claiming Shaq and several teammates were using hand signals to keep the ball away from Bryant. The tension peaked when, after a blowout win over the Suns, a game where Kobe dropped 38 and Shaq only 18, O'Neal asked GM Mitch Kupchak for a trade. Kupchak immediately shut it down, saying he wasn't trading anyone, period. And if things were that bad between the stars, imagine being the coach trying to hold it together. The Zen master grew so tired of playing school teacher, he called his stars childish. This is juvenile stuff, really juvenile stuff, sandbox stuff. You have my truck and I want it back, or I'm going to throw sand in your face. They have to be men about it and appreciate the talent we have here and play ball together. But it took some mediation from another Lakers great to soothe the raging fire. Recognizing the duo's massive potential, the Lakers called on Magic Johnson to talk to their fighting superstars. The organization hoped Magic could use his experience with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to help Shaq and Kobe mend their off-court chemistry. After speaking separately with both O'Neal and Bryant, Johnson helped calm the storm around the team. He emphasized that their ultimate goal was winning and that their personal relationship didn't need to mirror their on-court partnership. Magic told the LA Times, "I just want to say this is about winning. That's what this is about. It's about going out there and playing together and winning. These guys are professionals. You've got two of the best players in the league. They'll find a way of working it out. They don't have to be best friends off the court, but they have to play like they're best friends when they're on the court. The other players feed off them on this team." And for a short time, it seemed to work. Magic's reassurance eased some of the media noise and quieted fans' doubts, but it was still a matter of wait and see. Egos could easily blow up the chemistry the Lakers were trying to build, and people had every right to be concerned. But as the season went on, the results started to show. Whatever friction existed off the court didn't seep into their on-court dominance.
Now the Spurs, we're talking about the lack of belief.
Still as dominant.
With a play like that, those plays demoralize you.
Here's Fisher. Yes. The ball. Taking it to the rim.
Oh yeah, that one right there is just so disrespectful. Look at that.
Against Dudley.
While Bryant certainly had a strong ego, Shaq still acknowledged that Kobe was a smart player with elite basketball intelligence. That trait proved crucial when Kobe was sidelined late in the season. During his absence, something interesting happened. The Lakers went on a tear. As Shaq later noted, The team played a more fluid, efficient brand of basketball. The ball moved, everyone got touches, and the offense simply clicked. When Kobe watched from the sidelines, he came to a realization. The Lakers were at their best when everyone was involved. Maybe what his teammates had been saying all season wasn't so far off. That when the offense flowed through everyone, the team became truly unstoppable. Shaq and Kobe often clashed, but when it mattered, there was always mutual recognition. One example came when O'Neal praised how Bryant integrated into the lineup after being cleared to play again in early April. According to the three-time Finals MVP, Kobe's adjustment deserved a lot of credit. Injuries are often seen as setbacks, but they can also be opportunities. If you have the right mindset, the Black Mamba did, he turned the challenge into a chance to rethink his approach to the game. And the numbers back it up. Before his absence, Kobe averaged 4.9 assists per game. After returning, that number jumped to 6.2 for the rest of the regular season and 6.1 in the playoffs.
They had some speed on that perimeter.
Right, here's Bryant giving it back. Fisher for three. All basketball. Kobe spins down the lane. Nice basketball. Fall away jumper.
The more not dominant I will become. All of this will do nothing.
Against the smaller Stoudemire. Finds Harper alone.
Now by Bryant going to the foul. Here's Kobe taking it all the way, able to find O'Neal. Shot clock at 5. Shaw for three.
Following a 96-88 win over the Utah Jazz at the Delta Center on April 3, the Lakers ripped off 8 straight victories, their longest streak of the season, and clinched their second consecutive Pacific Division title, edging out the Sacramento Kings in the final week. O'Neal finished the regular season averaging 28.7 points, 12.7 rebounds, and 2.7 blocks per game, earning All-NBA First Team honors. Bryant wasn't far behind, posting 28.5 points, 5.9 rebounds, and 5 assists per game to land on the All-NBA Second Team. Both were also named to the All-Defensive Second Team. Their achievement was even more remarkable, considering the contrast to the previous year's title run. The Lakers had lost 8 playoff games in 2000. In 2001, they bulldozed many of the same teams that had given them trouble before. The regular season proved they could
Sweeping them
coexist,
all.
but could they dominate together? The playoffs would answer that question emphatically. First up were the Portland Trail Blazers, the same team that had pushed the Lakers to 7 games in the 2000 Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
This time, there was no drama. In the 5-game first-round format, the Lakers dismantled Portland in a clean 3-game sweep, cruising
Dismantled
with an
them.
average margin of victory of 14 points.
It's taking a real toll.
Shaquille O'Neal taking a toll too.
Shaw.
It's Kobe again. Lakers have 2. Bryant to Shaq.
Yeah, Kobe to
One down,
Shaq.
but the real test was still coming. Next came the Sacramento Kings, who had taken LA to 5 games the previous postseason. The Kings put up a tougher fight than Portland, but the result was the same. The Lakers swept them in 4 hard-fought contests that were closer than the box score suggests.
He's not going to be able to keep him out of the lane.
Christie trying to stay with Bryant and he puts it in.
Kobe got the ball. Kobe taking it to the Story vacuuming in. Shaw to Shaq.
Kobe Bryant with 14 points, dancing and weaving and outside to Grant. Missing
Damn, horse.
Year. How were you able to dominate, particularly with Shaq out of the game down the stretch?
Well, with Shaq out of the ball game, my teammates did an excellent job looking for me to get easy post position and create some opportunities for them.
2 sweeps. The Lakers were rolling, but could they handle the West's best?
2 sweeps.
Then came what was supposed to be their toughest test. Tim Duncan and the San Antonio Spurs in the Western Conference Finals. But even that challenge didn't last long.
Mr. Duncan.
The Lakers won Game 2, 87-80, and that 7-point difference turned out to be the closest the Spurs would get all series. LA
Closest all
steamrolled them
series.
by an average of 22 points per game, completing yet another 4-game sweep, 11-0,
It's just the first step in what you hope is another championship. Is that why we're still seeing the serious side? It's not all accomplished yet?
Well, it's an enjoyable moment for us to win the Western Conference Championship.
And now, only one team stood in their way. The Los Angeles Lakers entered the finals against the Philadelphia 76ers.
That team was far, inferior to them, but whatever.
Widely expected to finish the job and become the first team ever to go undefeated through the postseason. The Sixers had league MVP and scoring champ Allen Iverson, Defensive Player of the Year Dikembe Mutombo, and not much else. They'd split the regular season series with LA, but on paper, they were outmatched. Few of their other players would have cracked the rotation.
Crazy. Allen Iverson had to play the game of his life just to get one, bro. One.
Most playoff teams. Still, Philly shocked the world in Game 1. Iverson erupted for 48 points and delivered the iconic step over.
Bothered by Lou. Iverson. How about that? Steps over Teron Lou.
It was the Lakers' first loss in over 2 calendar months. The perfect postseason was over, but for Shaq and Kobe, it was a wake-up call. Time to remember what got them there. In Game 2, the Lakers went back to basics, and their superstars took over. Kobe Bryant rebounded from a rough opener with 31 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Shaquille O'Neal followed with a monster line of 28 points, 20 rebounds, 9 assists, and 8 blocks. After a close first half, the defense tightened up, sparking transition buckets and a 98-89 win. The world felt right again. Game 3 was more of a grind. The Lakers led for most of the night, but the Sixers made a furious fourth quarter comeback, cutting the lead to 1 multiple times and fouling out both Shaq and Derek Fisher. That's when the Lakers veterans stepped up. Brian Shaw found Robert Horry for a wide open corner 3, one of many clutch playoff daggers from Big Shot Rob's legendary career. Iverson's Game 1 masterpiece turned out to be his peak moment, both in the series and arguably in his career. The Lakers escaped with a 97-91 win in Game 3, then closed out the series with double-digit victories in Games 4 and 5. Shaq and Kobe were back to being an unstoppable force. In Game 4, O'Neal erupted for 34 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 assists. He controlled the paint so completely that it was easy to forget the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Mutombo, was even on the floor. Kobe didn't shoot particularly well that night, but he shifted gears, falling just 1 assist short of a triple-double and running the offense to perfection. Then, in the closeout, Game 5, Bryant came back through like a killer. 26 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and elite efficiency from both the free throw line and beyond the arc. Paired with Shaq's 29 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 blocks, the duo was simply too much for Philadelphia.
But you
too much.
had the best record
too much
in the history of the NBA playoffs. You should be proud of that. You defended your title with intensity, passion, but most important, teamwork and grace. Congratulations to the world champion 2001 NBA Los Angeles Lakers.
By the time the confetti fell, they'd found their balance again. Kobe played unselfishly throughout the playoffs, easing Shaq's frustrations. Shaq, meanwhile, played himself into shape and recommitted to defense, just as Kobe had wanted. O'Neal even called Bryant his idol and the best player in the league by far after Game 1 win in the Western Conference Finals. At least for a few weeks, the feud faded away,
call him the
and
great,
the two
best player in the
megastars
world.
led the Lakers right back to the mountaintop.
Hey.
So,
Facts.
just how dominant
The
was
NBA could not compete, bro. They could not compete. It's like, bro, you see for real, like, about the whole team, bro. That team was locked in, okay? Nobody in the league had any answers for this, bro.
this run? Let's put it into perspective. In their era, only the 90-91 Chicago Bulls and the 98-99 San Antonio Spurs came close to matching it. Both of those teams lost just 2 games in the postseason, but neither managed to sweep their way to the finals like the Lakers did. The Bulls dropped 1 game in the Eastern Conference semi-finals and another in the finals, while the Spurs lost once in the first round and once more in the finals. Of course, the Lakers' magical run wasn't without a little luck. Including Derek Fisher's late season return from injury, Fisher shot a blistering 51% from 3 in the playoffs, giving the Lakers a huge boost when they needed it most.
Yeah.
But at that point, Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal were unquestionably the top 2 players in basketball. Together, they averaged 59 points, 22 rebounds, and 9 assists per game during the 2001 postseason. Pure domination. Those numbers tell the story, but here's why this run doesn't always get the respect it deserves. Largely because their regular season, while still excellent, didn't hint at what was to come. But what followed was one of the most dominant postseason performances ever. A team that flipped the switch when it mattered most. Their run might not have had the start to finish dominance of other legendary teams, but the way this Lakers squad bounced back from a championship hangover felt like a sports movie in real time. Coming off a championship high, straight into tension, locker room drama, egos clashing and egos bending, a superstar duo learning to play in harmony, and one dominant performance after another as they stormed through the playoffs with unstoppable force. The kind of story you'd expect to see on the big screen, with every game a dramatic scene and every victory a climatic moment. The 2001 Lakers weren't perfect on the inside, but what they put on the floor, it might be the most dominant display of team basketball the league has ever seen. If you think Shaq and Kobe's 2000 run was one of the greatest playoff performances of all time, like the video up and drop a comment.
It was to me, bro. What do you guys think? What duo do you think beats 2001 Shaq and Kobe? Because I don't see many, honestly, but whatever. You guys let me know what you think about this in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.